All right, then let's start. Welcome everyone to today's webinar on how to achieve organizational ambidexterity and self-organization with OKRs. We're very happy that you are joining, and we are also very curious who is joining today's webinar. So maybe you can briefly share your role and maybe where you're listening from in the chat. Then we can also see, okay, are there further people really working on the OKR process? Are we having more a group of transformation leads? Are we more having leaders here in the call? We're very interested in that. And I want to introduce you also our host of today's session, Marcel. Marcel is transformation coach at BKW and responsible for the OKR process, and want to share his experiences with OKRs in context of self-organization and ambidexterity with us today. Maybe Marcel, it makes probably most sense that you introduce yourself briefly.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And I'm very happy that you said BKW and not BKW. So it's easier to me to stay with that. It's a Berner Kraftwerke AG located in Switzerland, in Bern. So thank you for that, Alex. And as you said, I'm the transformation coach there in the unit from AMS, Energy Market and Services, and also a program lead of the OKRs within this unit. That's my task, to hold everything together. I'm also OKR coaches in several OKR teams, but I'm gonna show you afterwards a little bit the structure and the framework where we work in. I'm working for the BKW now for about 2 years, and I hope I could make the OKR system more stable. And we always try to develop this OKR system, of course, also with you from work paths.
Perfect, thank you. Before you will dive deeper into the topic, how you have established OKRs or an OKR process at BKW, how this process is running, what have been your experiences, learnings, and how you have reached self-organization of teams at BKW. Just one information for all participants. If you have any questions during the session, just post them in the chat, and I will then make sure that Marcel will answer the questions during the session. Some we will probably dive into immediately, and some others we will put to the backlog and answer at the end. Then, Marcel, it's up to you. I'm very curious about what you're explaining or sharing with us.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex, for the introduction. I just had a quick look in the chat. There are several people in, some with more experience of OKR and some with less. So I hope I can catch you all and give you some interesting information about our solution at BKW. And I would like to tell you a little bit about the story, how we built up this OKRs, and as I said, how we try to develop this OKR system within the BKW. Quick start about the BKW. Here you can read Berner Kraftwerke, nice name. Kraftwerke is in English, for me, a quite nice name. And we are invest a lot of things in smart energy, renewable energy. The second topics are smart buildings, of course, everything with the buildings. I think in Germany you had yesterday a quite important decision I could hear about the smart buildings, and of course also the infrastructure, smart infrastructure, about mobility, about stations, and so on and so on. That's our main pillars, and we are about more than 11,000 employees in 200 companies. So we have a lot of small companies around us as well. It's already the first networking we are dealing with. And we are in 9 countries in Europe. We also have our locations there. go really quick to the next slide, which shows you the mega trends we are supporting in this growth market from BKW. The climate change, and there is the goal from Switzerland to be climate neutral by 2050. So it's also a big challenge for us, of course, and we are a big player in Switzerland, and we try to get there. We try also to automate the processes. The digital transformation is also really important to us and also to our customers. So we try to go there into this transformation, of course, as well as all other companies do this as well. And this was, I said, with the cities, really important. There are a lot of potential around the cities with energy and where we can go into it. So these are these mega trends. The BKW as the company, 11,000 over 11,000 employees are working in there. The OKRs, now I have to show you this slide, of course, because I like this slide quite much. We create spaces for life for the human being, especially for the human beings in Switzerland, but maybe also in Europe. So we can say we try to create spaces, and this is also really good motto for the OKRs, I think. So I can also use that. We try to make with the OKRs a space for life, how we work together. And the self-organization, as you said, Alex, is really important to us that we force this self-organization with these OKRs. Where do we work with OKRs? It's unfortunately, I say unfortunately, not with the whole company so far. It's a unit. It's called Energy Market and Service Groups, AMS. But 180 employees are working in this unit. So far, we are 18 or 19. We were 19, now 18 OKR teams. And almost all of the employees are involved in this OKR framework. And as you see, we have different topics in this unit, and these topics are sometimes they are connected, but not so much. They're quite independent, and this makes it also not so easy for me also to work then and to set this framework. And so I'm going to show you how we do deal with this challenge. This is from the sales over the markets to the procurement until the strategy and transformation unit where we work in. So that's probably the most important slide I'm going to show you. I will show you, of course, some details about the solution. But for me, the one of the most important slide, because it's the human being again. Are the employees they involved in the system, in the framework, who work there. From this 180, I think so 160, 70 people, they are really involved in the OKR system. So that's quite a lot, almost everybody. And we have for these teams, these 18 teams, we have for each team, we have one team lead. So you see some of them are team leads. And then we have 15 OKR coaches, really important. I'm also a coach, but also the program lead. And we have a community from 15 OKR coaches, which support these OKR teams. And the rest are OKR members, and everybody tries to give their best within this OKR system. We have also, yeah.
Marcel, on this, you mentioned you have OKR coaches for the team. You are the program lead. What is your role as a program lead? Maybe you can also specify that a bit.
Yeah, that I try to stable the OKR system and to involve everybody that they can really work nicely in this OKR system, the framework, to settle this framework. And one of the most important roles is probably that I make the OKR coaches fit and try to and also the team leads. And we have a really nice community. So I work with them that they can work then with the members again. And so far, really try to develop the OKR system or framework from year to year and make it better. Also, these events, and so coordination of all the events you have in the OKR system, alignment workshop, the drafting workshops. I'm dealing with this, and for about 180 people, it's quite hard sometimes. We do that a lot with the online, of course, with the Miro, and also with WorkPass. Good. So I turn to the next page. If there is no other question. Next page shows you, I couldn't draw that in English again, so I left it in German. Hope you can read it a little bit. It shows a little bit picture of the whole OKR framework we have. And you see on the left side, there is the marketing, energy aufladen. That's the yearly OKRs. We have 5 pillars, strategic pillars, and one is marketing. That's on the left side. Also the commodity sales solutions with the smart energy. We are on the left side, all connected in the middle. Then we have the processes. This is on the bottom. System architecture with process. We try to optimize that all the time. We are quite a lot of people also in there, which searching for new solutions in this OKR. In the middle, I set in the middle the data, because it's really important to us to deal with the customer data, to give them then the advantages. Also to us, the data are really important. They become even more important from time to time. And of course, the people are in there, and that's the 5th pillar we have. This is the culture pillar, the mindset at work. So these are all the pillars we have, and the small written things are the teams we have, and I tried to make to design a picture. Alex, is there a question in the chat?
No,
okay,
not yet.
Good.
So you can just continue.
Good. Okay. And of course, we do that all for the environment, for our customers. We have also involved in politics, and that's really important to us also. And for the whole environment, we try to work on that. It looks like this here. It's these 5 pillars I said: charging energy, growing with energy, that's sales and solution, and then the data and the profitability, and the last one is the culture pillar. And for each pillar, we have yearly OKRs. And for each pillar, we have 1 or more OKR teams. Maybe it's the same in your company. On this slide, you see also that these teams can change really from cycle to cycle. We have new teams. In this example is the cross-selling team was the new team. We have also involved the project teams. Next to the OKR system, there we have also a lot of projects, and we try to put the projects also into this OKR system now. We are not quite there now. We just started this year to involve the project teams also in the OKR teams, if it makes sense. And we have also, this was the first team from the organization. This red one is this was like a pilot. This is really a cross-functional team which serves the other teams. It's a team for itself, but it serves the purpose of this red team is to serve all the other teams. And we made a quite good experience with that. So we try, but we'll see how we can develop the OKR system in this direction to have more of these cross-functional teams then.
Yeah, one question on that, Marcel, in the chat. You mentioned you had 15 OKR coaches, 19 teams with 180 colleagues. Does it mean that each team has an OKR coach in your organization?
Yes, it is like that, yeah.
Okay, and how much time or how much of their time do OKR coaches spend on coaching in OKR events?
this is really hard to say because it depends on the OKR teams. New OKR teams needs a bit more of coaching. So in average, maybe 5 to 10% a week. What I could see now in this year, the teams are getting more self-organized. So they need the coaches less and less. So that's a quite nice development of the OKRs in these years, and that's also one goal from me, or should be a goal from the whole framework, that they go into the self-organization. In the most cases, you have also a double role. You're the a team member plus the OKR coach.
Okay, but that means the OKR coach is not only the team lead, but rather a person from the team.
Yes, exactly. And for each team, we have this team lead, and that it shouldn't be the team lead, shouldn't be also the coach. There are two teams, really small teams, that the two roles are together, but I really try to not make them together, not one person with both roles, because then it's a conflict and you can't concentrate on your topics.
Okay. And then one last question on OKR coaches. Do OKR coaches only coach on OKRs? Are they only experts for OKRs, or also coaches for other things?
They are especially OKR coaches, and we have every year we have new OKR coaches, and I make education with these OKR coaches, and as well these communities once a month, where we come together and share our experience. Some of them, but not so many, are also agile coaches, so Scrum masters. These teams here you see here, they are really free how they work. We have a lot they work still in a classical way, and we have a lot they work in an agile form, or lean as well. Huh?
Yeah, and I mean, that makes sense from my perspective. If people are used to agile methodologies, if they have experience with Scrum and so on, they also have probably another cultural mindset of how teams should be organized, how much they are empowered and so on. And so it makes sense. There are a lot of principles similar, so it makes sense to use them as OKR coaches. But there is another responsibility.
Alex, but this is also an advantage for me, that not everybody has to be in this agile method. We have, for example, this growing with energy, the smart energy. I know they're really good in agile, but there are some other teams that doesn't make sense to work in agile form. So it's they can stay in the classical form. So and this makes it really strong, this system.
Yeah, you're right. A new mindset and new perspective also helps a lot. Then you also mentioned before you prefer separating responsibilities of OKR coaches as team leads. So what are their responsibilities and why it makes sense to separate them?
It's actually like in Scrum with the product owner and the Scrum master. So the team lead is really, he's responsible for the content and the result. He also shows in the alignment workshop the results, and the coach he's involved in the process. He's involved in the team performance and also the development of the teams. He's more in the soft skills. He looks that everything comes together, and also moderate all the reviews and retrospective. So there are two different roles. It's quite similar to the product owner and the Scrum master in Scrum.
Okay, and but that means OKR coaches in their OKR teams, they have purely the role of OKR coaches, but in the organization they have also other roles.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. They are then also, do I say, normal employees. And maybe what's also really interesting is that so the team lead plus the owner is then the owner of this one of these 5 pillars, not of a team and these two they have the responsibility, and the team itself, they are accountable for results. So we really split responsibility and accountability. Team leads, they say what to do, or the owners, and the team has to say how they do it, and that's really important.
Maybe we move on. I guess a few questions are also further elaborated on the
Okay, perfect.
Because I have seen them already.
Okay,
so
good.
Let's continue.
Yes. So that it makes a bit more sense about this teams and how we work. We have this 3 to 5 year review with these pillars, strategic pillars of AMS. I told you already which kind of pillars they are, and each pillar has then a yearly objective with 1 to 3 key results. The role owner is responsible for this yearly objective key results. And then normally out of 1 key result, that's the normal case, there comes one OKR team. And the OKR team then sets the objective and the key results for the team. That's a cycle of 4 months. So it goes down and then again up. That's so the normal OKR process we also do with that. And we have made really good experience for that. In the normal case, it's 1 key result or yearly key result is 1 objective team objective. How we involved, and it is also important to me to show you quick how we involve the employees. They're really involved in dealing with this with their own team objective key results, but they are also involved when we go with this yearly setting. The management, the leaders, they're dealing for the yearly OKRs, and then the employees, they're already first time involved in this process, and that's a really nice, that's the first bottom-up approach we have. They can give a feedback on these yearly OKRs. Then it's finalized, the communication takes place, and then you can roll in which team you want to go. That's also really quite nice. A lot of teams, they're stable and the setting is already given. But there are a lot of OKR teams you can choose. So that's really also nice. We have these 2 characters of OKR teams. And then the goal drafting, and from then on, the team is accountable to go and to reach their own goal. So that's the first involvement, and that this approach, bottom up and the top down approach, starts really quite early in the whole process. So I could get some nice statements from some colleagues. You can read that quickly. From Tim Zürcher, he's an OKR coach, and he's really one really good agile coach as well. And he of course, what you said, Alex, he really appreciate that the whole system is an agile method, and also they can work in a kind of agile in their team. That's really a good approach for him. And also what I said before, he can choose where he wants to go and where he has the most value. That's also really important thing. And he appreciate, and he also said that organization-wide collaboration. I like this expression. I didn't hear that before, but I will keep it. So that's what he also underlined what I said before.
Yeah. On that one, when you say like a code really states it focus OKRs allows me to focus my efforts where I can add the most value. Does that also mean that employees at BKW start really proactively deprioritizing things, where they say like, okay, I have to decide what to do and what not in order to deliver the most value? Because what I experience very often is that it's pretty tough to really take a decision of deprioritization.
Yeah. And normally, I have to say that normally the deprioritization is already given by the organization in the AMS. But there are a lot of opportunities where you can really try, and then you have to negotiate with your leader if you can go into it. For an example is that we have, maybe you have seen that we have also a unit, legal within AMS, and they choose a lot of them choose then a team from the culture. So then there's a prioritizing a little bit also on culture. The main topic stays with legal, of course, but they work also with the culture OKR. And what's really nice, we have also employees outside AMS, outside this 180 people. They are already involved in our OKR framework, and that's really a goal of me to open it, but that's really hard then to reach step by step.
Yeah, and we have another question in the chat because you mentioned that already. The people from legal often work for OKR teams focusing on culture. Does it mean that the OKR teams are rearranged each cycle, or are they fixed for a longer time?
It could be rearranged, but this doesn't take place. I have to admit, this doesn't take place at the end of the year. And when I switch back quick in this communication and enrollment process. So every year in the enrollment process, it takes place where you can switch also OKR teams. And there also the most change of OKR teams takes place within this 6th of December till the start of the OKR process in January. Good. That's one of my favorite, all 5 favorite slides. But for me, out from WorkPass, this is really a nice graph. I've found, and I always play a little bit with this graph as well. And you see here the alignment, the networking, the self-organization, and also to come together with the 2022. On the left side and 2023 on the right side. And so you can see here we have really made a progress. On the left side, there are like satellites, teams flying around. And nowadays, they are much more common and they're much more networked together. And I think that's really impressive. And I haven't done so much for that. They did it themselves. I've just took the graph out of WorkPass. That was my task here. But I think that it's a really progress we could make. And I have to say that the people they work within OKRs and the OKR coaches are responsible for these two slides, for these 2 graphs. Okay, wait. It's my presentation is fixed. Okay. Really quick here, that's a process, the normal process from the OKRs. The strategy development, 5 yearly OKRs come out. What I showed you, then the team drafts, they're the team drafts. Then the alignment workshops come out, the kickoff, and then this 4 months circles starts with review and retro. It ends, and a lot. The OKR teams are involved really a lot in this process. Started with the 5 yearly OKRs with the announcement, and from the drafting, this dark blue bubbles, the people and the OKR teams are responsible, accountable for the result. The owners, they are only involved in the alignment workshop. And they can support the teams, they can coach the teams, but they are involved only in the alignment workshop, not in the drafting. They see the drafts of the goals, of the cycle goals, first in the alignment workshop. And I think that's really good, also to give a more self-organization in this OKR system. That's also one slide. It's important to us to see on which level we are. We have split it into business agility, team agility, and personal agility. The business agility set the right things. The strategy, the optimal framework of OKR, managing ambidexterity. That's also, it started from the agility, business agility. We are also trying to get now into value streams. This is also a development. Then comes this team agility, where the teams are settled, and this also connects to each other. The alignment starts with in the team agility. Do the right things right. There are the alignment, the horizontal alignment as well, and also the co-creation. Agile support starts with the team. And then, of course, the self-responsibility for each person who works in this system, in this framework, to increase their competences and moderation of self-responsibility. So that we always look, is it on the business agility, where the strategy is set? Is it on the team, where we set the teams and we align the teams? The alignment takes place there, and it's tactical, and then the personality, the person itself.
Yeah. On that one, Marcel, I really like to separate that a bit, because I also believe these are different things and you have to take care of everything. Nevertheless, what is the hardest level to reach, or what is the most simple level to reach, and how long does it take to reach the different levels?
That's so hard to say, Alex. It's really hard to say. It's always, I think it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to deal with the owners, to set down and to settle down the strategy and to do the right things. And I think that's the most important thing. And to deal with them, it's also hard for them sometimes that they're not so involved in the teams. In the OKR teams, only the alignment workshop. They can coach, of course. They can, and a lot of owners, they go to the teams and ask if they can help them. So that's it's hard also for me to deal with this with these owners. It makes fun, but it's hard, and also to align the teams. To align the teams is really, because 18 teams, to align all these teams was quite hard. Now it starts to self-organize that as well. They connect each other. It gets easier and easier. And of course, if the last one doesn't take place, then that's the hardest thing. So you have to try to involve all the people, and they are convinced also from the OKRs. I can't say which one is the hardest thing. as you said, all levels are really, really, really important. And OKR works only if these 3 levels works. Thank you for the question. Here, next statement for OKR team lead. Network makes network possible without a lot of bureaucracy. And I think I agree with him. It's quite simple sometimes. It's quite simple. Sometimes quite hard, but sometimes, a lot of times, it's quite simple. Just do it and do the best. You have your goal, and you have to try to reach that. And also to create new ideas. That's also a good thing, especially within the OKRs. But he's also said that the challenges is really to deal also with the daily business. That's always this hard thing. But what's daily business? What's OKR? And sometimes self-organization within the teams. You need good coaches to force the self-organization. We have this.
Maybe Marcel, sorry, on the slide before, because the question in the chat fits quite well to your statement. You need good coaches to bring OKRs to life and to make OKRs work. So have you ever forced people to become an OKR coach, or how have you assigned people to become an OKR coach?
Yes, we didn't force the OKR coaches. We made advertising for OKR coaches, and when I started, we had already good OKR coaches, and we tried to convince also new employees within the AMS to make this role, to have this role. They have also to have the commitment of the leaders. And there also a lot of leaders, they went to their employees and asked if that's an opportunity to make coaching, and that's also a nice thing. It started the self-organizing also with the OKR coaches. What we did at the beginning, I wasn't there so far then, but we forced, it's a hard word, but we forced the employees to work within one OKR team, at least one OKR team. And we don't do that anymore. We don't force the people anymore. But only 2 or 3% they didn't describe for an OKR team. So they stood in the OKR teams, even they didn't have to go there into anymore. And that's a really nice sign.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you look at a OKR coach role, how is it perceived in your organization? Is it cool that you have an extra responsibility and really this helps the organization? Because I mean, it's also, I guess, a bit more work at least, and stresses you out a bit more because it's on top of your current role.
So you have to the commitment from your leader that you can do that. And when the OKR coaches do it, it's really they want to do it. They really want to learn something new. They want to come into and manage the people, work with the people, so they learn also a lot. And that's the purpose of them if they come in. But of course, they need the commitment, and fortunately, they have the commitment all the time from the owners, from the leaders. That's really important. First, thank you for these nice questions. But we separated, and this helped us a lot. We have, or I designed then, we say we have teams which work in exploration and in the development. These are OKR teams and projects, and there are also teams, they work in the operation, in the daily business. And this helped us really to define where they are. There are also some teams, they have both, maybe or all 3 things, exploration, development, and operation, work in one cycle, but sometimes also only daily business, and sometimes only exploration or development. And if you have the daily business, only daily business, most of the OKRs are the KPIs. Goes also to the strategy of AMS, of one of these pillars, but normally then it's daily business to KPIs is quite similar. No? And when you work in the exploration development, then you are really in the OKR system with the cycles. But we involve all the teams in this framework. And I asked the owner once from the team, from the daily business teams, if he wants to get out of the OKR system, and he said no, I want to stay because he likes the cycle, and that he can plan also again 4 months, and then he can also close this 4 months because it goes up and down with it was a sales team, goes up and down with yeah. So that's one graphic which helped us to figure out where the teams are. Also this one, the next one.
Maybe on that, sorry, Marcel, didn't want to interrupt you, but I guess that
no, it's good. Good.
A question in the chat. You mentioned now operational work more connected to KPIs, but how are KPIs in general integrated in your OKR system?
The KPIs.
Yeah.
They come from the strategy of BKW and then from AMS, and that's most of all they are the figures, really hard figures, and they came from top down. And then we just take a KPI, and that's equal to the yearly OKR. That's
means it's kind of an input factor for then deciding on what priorities you work in the 4-month cycles.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And that would also mean at the end it is actually feasible to connect your OKRs on the 4 months or tertial view to these KPIs, because they are then the leading indicators how these might develop over time, right?
Exactly. And this cycles are still important also for the teams working with the KPIs. And that's the ambidexterity we have in AMS with the OKRs. Maybe also the next slide helps you a little bit more to see that what is what. also the ambition level of the goals in the exploration phase. There, the ambition level in the exploration phase is approximately 60%. In development phase, when you go then to the development, is 80%, and operation, where the KPIs are, is 100%. So we set ambition level for the whole OKRs between 75 and 85%. And if we reach that result, then we had a really good result and also good OKRs. And here you see also the moon goals are on the left side, and the root shot goals are on the right side, the operation work. It's for us, also for me as program lead, it's good to see where are the teams are and how to deal with these teams. Of course, if you're more in the exploration phase and development phase, you're more agile within the teams, and in the operation work, it works to, I say, normal in a classical way most of the time. Principles. All employees will be engaged actively in the yearly OKRs, active work in an OKR team or in a strategy relevant project. All teams which work for key results will report the progress to the OKR framework. And if you can't afford a value in an OKR team, what I said before, you have to have the agreement with the leader that you don't have to work within an OKR team, because we don't want that somebody just works in an OKR team just like for fun or something. He has to. So we have broken a little bit this principle we had before. We forced the people to start with in an OKR team, and this was a good decision at the beginning, so it could really roll all out the OKR system. But now we broke this rule because it was needed. And you see also we have new OKR teams, 2 new OKR teams, really huge, even a pillar, a new procurement, which are involved in 2023, and just putting these teams right now into the OKR teams. So these are some principles of our OKR system. Yeah, maybe just out of the practice, how we do with this OKR teams. Maybe it's also interesting how we really deal with it. We call connecting the priorities, brain working, that's with the Miro board, then clustering and identify the patterns. We were also really good coached by WorkPath with that. Headlines, then we define all the first line is the yearly OKRs, we write that down, and then we come to the objective and 3 to 5 key results. And at the end, also action points, we call them task breakdown. What's also nice, when we do the brainstorming, and it's really nice, we don't have to find first the objective, then the key results, and then the action points. We can also start with the action points and then define the key results and the objectives, or the key results, objective, action points. So it's not always the same, and that's for me myself, it's always the hardest part to find first the objective, then the key results. What I can see a lot of times, first the tasks comes and the task breakdowns comes, and out from them you define the key results, what you want to reach, and then the objectives. So that's the practical way, and we do that 18 times. Every team does such a OKR definition with the task breakdowns.
Maybe one question on that, Marcel. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you that when you do brainstorming on priorities for the next cycle, then you should definitely collect everything. Yeah. So like objectives, maybe potential metrics to measure the outcome, but also initiatives or tasks, what you want to concretely do to reach the objective or target. But I'm wondering, I would state that people are really used to think in outputs, so in tasks.
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone knows what they want to do, but they rather struggle in why they want to do it.
Yes.
So how during drafting, how you deal with that issue that people, if they maybe focus first on initiatives, on outputs, on tasks, how they then really ensure that a customer value is created?
First of all, it's important to define what is what. And as you said, they are really common in define the output. And then a lot of output comes, and then you are, as a coach, you have to ask the right questions. How you want to measure that? Why do you want to do that? And then maybe you switch to the objective, and again, how you want to measure it. And most of the key results are still missing. And for example, when I'm the coach, I'm really forced them. And now, how you want to measure it, and why do we want to do that? This can last approximately 2 hours. It's not so much time you spend, but at the end, I can say from my teams, we can find quite nice OKRs, especially that the coach with the team lead then also make a little bit the Feinschliff at the end. He defines then the really end objective key results, and that's also then really maybe the point on the E.
Okay, and that means that teams drafting 2 hours together in these workshops.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was another question in the chat. I guess this is answered then.
Mostly so 1 hour review and retrospective, and 2 hours spending in this drafting. For me, it's too few time. It needed more. So the coaches and the team leads, they have to really do an extra round of themselves to bring everything together and then formulate a nice OKR. I go with that at the end, another statement, and that's quite nice. This year, Jan Michel, he is a OKR member. He joined BKW, I think, start of the year, and he made a bachelor work about it. He was researching a bachelor work, and I said, I have something. What's the outcome of the OKRs for the employees and the leaders at BKW? And he had really a lot of things, and one of the statement is that we create a lot of outcome, which helps the company, but we can still improve the outcome. What you said before, sometimes it's only output, so we can really make still the better outcome, and we have to make that with little improvements. That's also one of my tasks, to find these little improvements, and this will help. And then also in continuous improvement of the whole framework, because the little things and also the whole for the whole framework, we are thinking about to make really the next step, but it's not done yet. Maybe Alex, we can talk to each other about this once.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I really like that as a finishing statement, that it's about little improvements. And I also experienced it with other customers, that it's never over to further improve the OKR process. It's an ongoing process. You start maybe with a setup, then you iterate on it, then you iterate again, and maybe you find one day a setup that works best for you, but there's still small things that you can improve. And also, especially when the organization is changing again, what also happens over time, maybe you organize teams more around your values and outcomes that you have experienced or identified with OKRs, and then you have to maybe adjust the process again slightly. So this is never over, and I really heard that from so many teams. And when you realize after a first cycle, a second or a third cycle, it's not working in the setup, then this is quite normal. It takes time to find the right framework, the right setup for that makes OKR work.
It makes the learning organization. That's a transformation and learning organization. That's it.
Absolutely. And I like that, especially because it's one of your learnings, I guess, as well. But maybe you can also add 2 more things to that, or also one is fine. What are your biggest learnings regarding OKR work in general, like that one? It's never over to get better, to improve.
I think for me, it's also the trust, trust the teams that they can manage it. Therefore, it's really important that you have a good community of OKR coaches. But the first year I went into this OKR framework as program lead, I had the feeling I has to deal with everything. That's not true. The people, they deal with everything, and to trust them that they will get there. I think that's one of the biggest improvement or learnings for me. And what I learned, if it works, one statement was like that, it can be really a simple system. If everybody works, and I have three things always for a good culture. That's a framework, it's given here. And then the networking, it's also given here, and then the dialogues. So these three things, I can find all these three things in the OKR system, and it's hard to deal sometimes, but it can be also really easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I experienced the same. It's at the beginning, you need some more governance, I would say, around strategy execution. And then from time to time, you can reduce that because people are getting used to it, and then it's getting much simpler. There is another question in the chat asking about any financial improvements you have experienced after the rollout. Yeah, maybe that you get faster, that you have really some tangible improvements. Is there something you can share on that one?
Yeah, the only I can't share some numbers, of course, but what I can say that we reached the goal, the financial goal for 130% last year. And I know that WorkPass, and we tried to put in 130% that we reached that. We couldn't do that because it stopped by 100, and we had a discussion about that. Shall we count the 130 or shall we stop with 100? And we decided that we stay with this 130, 140% because they really overperformed then, and it was a high goal, but it was really good performance. So they really did it, and this year the same. Half a year is over, and they are already more than 50% they reached. So yes, the financial impact is really good.
Perfect. And I mean, we also did within WorkPass with all our customers with metadata some analysis, and they clearly stated that organizations that are better in certain, let's say, behaviors around OKRs, really having, working together on goals, using metrics to track process, really focusing on the customer. And I mean, we have seen that on your alignment tree, that the collaboration and the way how value is created have improved tremendously between 2022 and 2023. And also our metadata analysis showed that you can make up to 35% more OKR progress relatively in comparison to not stick to these behaviors. And from my perspective, there's a clear sign that good governance around strategy execution is measurable at the end.
Exactly.
Okay, one last question in the chat we have, and then I have also another one. The question was related to a topic before. Are OKR teams only work on the OKR, or do they have also other daily business to look after?
Also daily business. It's split.
Okay.
Everybody has both.
Yeah, I would say this
as
is
simple
quite
as
usual.
that.
Yeah,
I would like to have the people only in the OKR framework, of course, but in this case here, it doesn't work. So we have both, and we have to manage it.
Sure. And then connected to that one, what is the proportion when you say like, okay, OKR work and other work? Can you still like there's a certain proportion? Or is it depends probably?
Yeah, it depends. I can't. I tried to figure it out, and then I left that because it doesn't make sense to figure it out. How much is it? It really depends on the OKR teams. Now we have also in the sales and solution pillar, we have OKR teams. They were in the daily business, but they are 50-50 now. It always changes as well. So that's also the nice, flexible kind of work within OKRs.
Yeah. So what I experience with other customers is that there are three kind of setups. Yeah, the first one is really you have dedicated people for strategic work.
Yep.
They really work almost 100% in that on OKRs. Then you have a mixture, what is probably average, for a lot of teams doing half operation work, half strategic work, and then you have teams that are really just more contributing. And they have probably 80 to 90% operation work and just 10 to 20% OKR strategic work. And most times it depends on the setup, in which function you work, in how close you are to maybe a strategy department or the board, and so on and so forth. But Julia, the question came from you. If you wanna dive on that one, I can also try to provide you further information after the session. And also to your question, the recording can be accessed on our webpage after the session as well. Yeah,
that would be nice. And maybe also what I would like, and I would be happy if you would be maybe connect to me within LinkedIn. That would be a nice thing, because I couldn't see you now. You could see me, and I couldn't see the chat and who's in there. So it would be nice if you maybe give me a link on LinkedIn, on Marcel Reinhard, and then to connect that.
Yeah, and regarding the point, we share the recording with all registrants after the webinar. That's true.
Perfect.
Okay, then time is almost over. Just one last question that not related to OKRs, because I've seen we have a very international group with people from everywhere, some from Switzerland, some from Netherlands, some from Denmark, and so on. And maybe Marcel, one personal question: when people come into Switzerland, what is one place they should definitely visit and not miss when they are in Switzerland?
Bern. A city of Bern and the soccer club of Bern, Young Boys Bern. That's it.
Okay, so to everyone, if you go to Switzerland, visit Bern, and especially have a match in the stadium. Yes. Thanks everyone for the great contribution, for the great questions. My feeling was we had a great discussion. Thanks Marcel for sharing all the experiences and learnings with us. Your thoughts was very valuable, and then I wish everyone a great rest of the week.